You, me, you, you saw the warning signs. You read the report, you had the concern, but something inside of you whispered, it will work out this time, it's well. It always does. You're overthinking. This time will be different. And you moved forward anyways, not because you had evidence, but because optimism felt better than accuracy. And that feeling just cost you everything. This is called positivity bias. This is bias number 33 in our 225 plus bias series. My name is Cussons, Africa's premium high performance thinking and strategic execution expert. Positivity bias, also known as optimism bias, is the tendency to overestimate the likelihood of positive outcomes and then underestimate the probability of negative outcomes. Negative views, negative people, and possibilities through a consistently rosier lens than objective evidence actually supports. You are trusting in spite of the facts. It is the brain's built-in sunshine filter. Yeah, it wants to say it's well. It's faith, most time faith-based people behave in this way. Okay, people of faith behaves in this way, or like is well. The Lord will do it, and all those. In business, the Lord gave you brain to allow him rest in some things. So, in moderate doses, it is genuinely valuable, okay? That optimism, generally valuable. Positivity is genuinely valuable. Optimism fuels entrepreneurship. It sustains relationship through difficult seasons. It powers the human capacity to begin again after failure. It makes you conquer disability. Quite a lot. But when positivity bias crosses the line from healthy optimism into willful blindness, it starts being a fuel and start becoming a liability. So, because the world does not adjust its outcomes to match your positive expectation, you need to know that expectation and outcome must be data-driven. Markets do not reward hopeful projections unsupported by solid strategy. Relationships do not heal because you believe they will without doing the actual work. Risks do not disappear because you chose not to look at them directly. Positivity bias doesn't change reality. Reality is reality. Positivity is a coping mechanism. It changes your perception of reality while reality continues unchanged. And that gap between your rosy perception and the unfiltered truth is where fortunes are lost and relationships collapse when it is not realistic. So there are quite a lot of examples, both in business and in relationship. In business, a seasoned entrepreneur is launching her third business. Her first two ventures had multiple resources. She's experienced, confident, and genuinely talented. Oh, she develops a business plan, but had financial projections that are built on best case assumptions. They were not built on worst case assumptions. Okay? She said, yeah, things will work out fine. Let's be hopeful. My word for you today. Now, the point becomes that clients don't just hear. Yeah, the point becomes that that's revenue you are targeting. You are not the person to provide it. Okay, the market will provide it. So revenue targets assume maximum market penetration from month 3 from her own, assumptions. Cost projections excluded several significant operational expenses because for her, we will find a way to manage those when we get there. When we reach the bridge, we'll cross it. Her mentor reviews the plan and raises specific concerns. A trusted colleague points out that the market she's entering has a 70% failure rate in the first 2 years. Her accountant flags the optimistic revenue assumption, but as far as she's concerned, she's hearing herself. So she hears them, she appreciates them, and she moves forward unchanged. I know the statistics, but I know this market. I know this market. I know this market. Yeah? Then she dives in. This idea is mine. This one is different. I can understand your concerns. 18 months later, revenue is at 40% of projection. The unbudgeted costs arrived exactly as her accountant warned. The markets proved exactly as competitive as the data suggested. She isn't failing because she lacks talent or work ethic. No. She's failing because positivity bias convinced her that her belief in the outcome was a substitute for rigorous preparation for the full range of possible outcomes. It's not. Hope is not a business strategy. It can help your life, it can help your happiness, but it's not a business strategy. Business strategy is most times realistic and based on data. An optimism without contingency planning is not confidence, it's an expensive wishful thinking because money is involved. This also shows up in hiring. A business owner hires a candidate despite clear red flags in the interview. Inconsistent answers, a pattern of short tenures, vague explanation for previous departures. But the candidate is charming and enthusiastic, and the owner thinks, I have a good feeling about this world. People deserve a chance. Yeah. 3 months later, the red flags that were always there have become daily operational problems. Positivity bias didn't give that candidate a chance. It gave the red flags a salary. The same in relationships. A woman is in a relationship with consistent patterns of emotional unavailability, broken promises, periodic episodes of disrespect, narcissistic behavior, and even toxicity. Friends have expressed, concern. Her own journal, if she read it back, will reveal a pattern so clear it will be impossible to deny that these have always been there. But every time the relationship has a good week, every time he is warm, present, and attentive, positivity bias activates fully and say, yeah, I'll tell you, things will get better. See, this is who he really is. The difficult times are deceptions. He is changing. I can see it. I feel it. We are going to be fine. Stay put. The good week ends. The pattern resumes. The bad week continues. And she's genuinely surprised because her positivity bias had convinced her that the exception was the truth and the pattern was the anomaly. It's not true. Why this person is not foolish? She's not weak. She's human. Okay? She's human, operating a brain wired to weigh positive moments more heavily than negative patterns when the heart is involved. Emotion. And that wiring, beautiful in its own intention, is keeping her in a situation that the full unfiltered evidence would have told her. Yeah? The full of evidence would have told her has a different prognosis than the one her optimism is projecting. The facts were there, but her emotions were taking the better part of her. The same for the man. So there are 3 moves you can do to fix this. Be honest and practical and immediately apply this. Number 1 is stress test every optimistic assumption before committing. Stress test every optimistic assumption before committing. In business, for every positive projection in your plan, build a corresponding worst case scenario. Ask, if everything that can go wrong does go wrong, what does that look like? Can I survive it? Have I planned for it? This is not pessimism. This is the discipline that separates entrepreneurs who build lasting businesses from those who build beautiful plans that reality dismantles. The goal is not to expect the worst. The goal is to be genuinely prepared for it so that your optimism is backed by resilience rather than exposed by naivety. In fact, we always say double risk and half, the positive, half the income. So when you are planning something, double the risk, make the risk twice as big, and then half your expectation or the outcome you're expecting from that. That way, if you still make gain, if the things was still palatable, that means you can go ahead. So, number 2 is appoint a designated realist in every major decision, whether in business or in life. Have a black hat. Identify one trusted person whose role is to challenge your positive assumptions before you act on them. Not a pessimist, not someone who drains your vision, but someone with the courage and the clarity to say, have you actually looked at this other part? Have you genuinely stress tested that assumption? Have you considered what happens if this specific thing goes wrong? Okay? So you need to have that kind of person. The entrepreneurs and leaders who build with durability almost always have someone in their inner circle who is immune to their positivity bias. Find that person, protect that relationship, listen to them, even especially when it is uncomfortable. Yeah, they will be the black heart. They'll be the devil's advocate. They will say the things you don't like, but maintain it. Number 3, in relationships, let patterns speak louder than peak moments. What is consistent? What happens regularly? Not just what happens once and then you use it. Positivity bias in relationship feeds on peak moments, the beautiful days, the meaningful gestures, the period of genuine connection. Train yourself, yeah? Train yourself to evaluate relationships on their patterns, not on their peaks. Ask this question: what does this relationship look like on an ordinary Tuesday? Not the Tuesday that we went out. What happens consistently when stress arrives? What is the trend line? What is the trend line? What is the trend like? What is that thing that is always there? Okay? Don't look at the highlight reels that cut and join that are not always there. A relationship should be assessed on its average, not its best. Take everything, put them together, divide, and find the average. And if the average consistently falls below what you need and what you deserve, no amount of peak moments justifies the cost of the pattern. Now, here is the distinction that could save your business and your relationship starting from today. There is a version of optimism that is one of the most powerful forces on earth. That version, it sees possibility where others see impossibility. That option, it begins where logic says stop. That is entrepreneurial guts. That option, it sustains effort through seasons that would that would naturally defeat a less hopeful mind. That optimism, I celebrate, I embody, I teach. That's what I use to conquer disability. Move from very ordinary disabled person to very, very important personality. And then there is positivity bias, which is optimism that has stopped consulting reality, which is hope that has evicted honesty from the building, which is a sunny forecast delivered confidently while the storm data sits unread on the desk. Now, the difference between the two is not how much you believe it. It is whether your belief is built on a foundation of honesty and evaluation of reality or on the comfortable avoidance of uncomfortable truth. The greatest entrepreneurs I have studied were not cautious people. They were courageously optimistic and ruthlessly honest simultaneously. Yeah, They were optimistically pessimistic and pessimistically optimistic at the same time. Remember, courageously optimistic and ruthlessly honest simultaneously. They believed deeply in their vision and stress tested it mercilessly. Yeah? They don't hide data from themselves, they don't lie to themselves. They saw the best in their people and held them to clear, high standards and say, I cannot measure down for you. They used praiseful expectations. They expected great outcomes and prepared seriously for difficult ones. These are the right people. That combination, optimism anchored in honesty and reality, is not a contradiction. Optimistically pessimistic and pessimistically optimistic. It is the most powerful operating system a business mind and a rational heart can run on. So see the best. Amazing. Prepare for the rest. Yes. And build something that can survive the gap between the two. This is bias number 33. Hope is your fuel. Truth is your foundation. You need both. I want you to share this with every entrepreneur, every leader, and every person in a relationship who needs to upgrade from wishful thinking to grounded optimism. I have a question for you. When was the last time you fed the mind that makes the money? Click the link below.